Down deep in the waters around Japan lives the Japanese spider crab. The Japanese spider crab gets its needed energy by eating things such as, but not limited to, dead or decaying fish. The spider crab has a complete one-way digestive system. The crab's basic digestive system includes its eye, which helps it locate and receive its meals, its heart, which keeps it living by pumping blood throughout the body, its spinal cord, which helps it not be a jello-like creature, but instead a creature who can send signals to different parts of its body, its stomach, which breaks down the food to be taken apart by enzymes, its hippocampus, which acts as a liver or a pancreas does, to help with producing enzymes to digest the food and gather needed energy. Lastly, its intestines. The intestines are made up of three parts: the foregut, where the extracellular cellular digestion takes place, the midgut, where the main digestion takes place mostly, and the hindgut, which extends the intestines to the anus to get rid of unwanted waste. The crab will grab its meal with its front claws and rip it apart into sizable pieces to fit in its mouth. Then the crab will chew the pieces of food with its stomach. Unlike humans who have their teeth located in their mouth, the spider crab has its teeth located within its stomach. Then, in the stomach, 5 different enzymes are produced to help break down the necessary parts of the food like nutrients from the unnecessary waste. The enzymes will then take down the nutrients to be made into energy and then stored in the hippocampus. Then, the rest of what is left and wasn't taken by the stomach's enzymes will be transported to the intestines. The intestines will take apart the rest of what's left and take the things it needs and turn the rest into poop. The intestines will then have the waste exit through the anus and have the nutrients enter the bloodstream with the help of enzymes like, but not limited to, molasses and trypsin. The circulatory system functions to move things like nutrients, salts, hormones, and metabolic waste throughout the body. There are 2 types of circulatory systems: a closed circulatory system and an open circulatory system. Mammals, like humans as us, have a closed circulatory system. A closed circulatory system includes the pump, the arteries, and the valves. The pump, also known as the heart, creates the blood and pumps it into the system. The blood will leave the pump through the valves and enter the arteries. The arteries then will transfer the blood throughout the system, having the blood carry needed things like energy and proteins to part of the body where it is needed. An example of blood transferring proteins is when facilitated diffusion occurs in cells. The blood carries necessary proteins to open the gate so glucose can enter the cells and make energy. The open circulatory system has a lot of similarities to the closed circulatory system. An example of this is that it also includes the pump, the arteries, and the valves as part of its circulatory system. The difference between a closed and an open circulatory system are the osseum that's on the pump and the fact the arteries are not closed but open, unlike the circulatory systems. The osseum is a large opening in the pump that is not connected to an artery, but instead the osseum just opens up into the body's cavity, where the blood will make direct contact with internal tissues and organs. Like the osseum on the pump, the arteries also open up to the body's cavity instead of being connected like how the closed system is. The spider crab has a very unique circulatory system. The crab's circulatory system includes the heart, which makes and pumps the blood around the body, the gills, which act like lungs and bring in oxygen into the body, and the interior aura, which is the arteries that carry blood to different parts of the body, and lastly, the walking leg arteries. The walking leg arteries are exactly what they sound like. It's the arteries that allow blood to be carried to the walking legs. So, now we know where the spider crab gets its first part of the cellular respiration equation that it needs to live. But where does it get the second part, the oxygen? The way the spider crab gets oxygen is through countercurrent exchange. Countercurrent exchange is the process by which the gills take oxygen from the water into the bloodstream. The way this happens is when the water that's carrying the oxygen is traveling one way while the blood flows in the opposite direction. The gills will pick up the oxygen that passed by them and then bring the oxygen into the bloodstream. The oxygen that is now brought into the bloodstream will travel around the body, making energy. So now that we have the equation to make the needed energy, there are a couple byproducts that are also made: carbon dioxide and water. These 2 things are waste products that the body does not need. The way that crabs rid themselves of these waste products is by their gills. In the same way the crab gets its oxygen from the water, it gets rid of the carbon dioxide by having the carbon dioxide leave its bloodstream and enter the ocean.